You're 31. 8 years in the Navy, 4 deployments, 2 Purple Hearts. You've been shot at in Ramadi, nearly drowned in a training exercise off Coronado, and watched 3 men you called brothers get loaded into body bags in Afghanistan. You don't talk about any of it. You're sitting in a briefing room at Dam Neck, Virginia, on a Thursday afternoon in April 2011. The room has no windows. The chairs are uncomfortable on purpose. There are 11 other men in this room. You know all of them. You've bled with most of them. You trust every single one with your life because you've already tested that trust in places that don't appear on news reports. Your commanding officer walks in with a man in civilian clothes. The civilian has the posture of someone who spent 20 years in the military and never quite left. He sets a laptop on the table. He doesn't introduce himself. He just says, "We found him." Nobody moves. Nobody asks who. Everyone in this room knows who. The civilian pulls up satellite imagery. A compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. 18-foot walls, security cameras, a main house, a guest house, a third-floor terrace with a 7-foot privacy wall added specifically so nobody from the outside could see who walked there. "We've been watching this compound for 8 months, the civilian says. "There's a man here who never leaves. His family receives no visitors. They burn their trash instead of putting it out for collection. The compound has no phone line and no internet connection." He pauses. His name is Pacer, 6 feet, 4 inches tall, walks the terrace every afternoon. We've never gotten a clear shot of his face. He closes the laptop. You have 2 weeks to prepare. You drive home that night. Your wife is making dinner. Your son is 7. He's doing homework at the kitchen table. You sit across from him and help him with his math problems. Multiplication tables. 7 times 8. 7 times 9. You don't tell her. You can't tell her. You'll leave in 2 weeks and she'll be told you're on a training exercise. She's heard that before. She's learned not to ask follow-up questions. That's the deal you made when you married into this life. That's the deal she agreed to. That's the deal that costs both of you every single day. After dinner, you put your son to bed. He asks if you'll be here for his baseball game next Saturday. You say yes. You won't be. The next 14 days are the most intense preparation of your life. And you've been preparing for this job since you were 19 years old. They build a full-scale replica of the Abbottabad compound at a classified base in North Carolina. Every wall, every door, every staircase replicated to exact dimensions from satellite measurements. You run the assault 40 times, day, night. Different entry points, different contingencies. If the helicopter goes down, here's what you do. If there are more guards than expected, here's what you do. If he's not there, here's what you do. If he is there and surrenders, here's what you do. If he doesn't surrender, here's what you do. You run each scenario until the movements are in your body, not your brain. Until your hands know where to go before your mind processes the command. This is what training does. It removes hesitation. Hesitation in this job is a cause of death. You study the floor plan until you can walk it blindfolded. You know which door opens inward, which staircase turns left, which room is on the 3rd floor. You know before you land. You'll know faster than you can think. The intelligence briefings happen every morning. A CIA analyst named Sarah walks you through everything they know about the compound. She's been working this case for 9 years, since 2002. She tracked a courier named Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti across 3 countries and 2 continents. She found the compound through a phone call. One phone call that lasted less than 3 minutes. She stands at the front of the briefing room with no notes. She knows every detail from memory. 9 years of her life in one 40-minute briefing. She says, "We assess with high probability that the pacer is Osama bin Laden." She pauses. "High probability is not certainty. We will not know for certain until you're inside." She looks directly at the room. "We've been wrong before." Everyone in the room remembers the last time. The intelligence failure before Iraq. The weapons of mass destruction that weren't there. High probability is not certainty. You're going into a sovereign nation without their knowledge to kill or capture a man who might not be there. You carry that ambiguity with you every night of the preparation period. You run the compound, you clear the rooms, you make the decisions. And underneath all of it, the 2% possibility that nobody in that building is who you think they are. Your gear weighs 70 pounds. Night vision goggles, assault rifle with suppressor, sidearm, flashbang grenades, breaching charges, medical kit. Every item placed in exactly the same position it's been in for 8 years of operations. Your hands know where everything is without looking. You test fire your weapon every day. You clean it every night. The night before departure, you write 2 letters. One for your wife, one for your son. You put them in an envelope and leave them in your desk drawer at home. Standard procedure. You've written these letters before every high-risk operation. This time feels different. You seal the envelopes and don't read them back. May 1st, 2011, Sunday. Local time in Pakistan, shortly after midnight. You're in the back of a modified Black Hawk helicopter. The modifications make it quieter, significantly quieter than a standard Black Hawk. The rotors have been redesigned. The tail has been altered. It's classified technology that doesn't officially exist. There are 23 SEALs on this mission, 2 helicopters. Your helicopter carries you and your chalk. The second helicopter carries the backup team. A third aircraft, a Chinook, holds additional reinforcements and waits at the border. You've crossed into Pakistan airspace without notification, without permission. If this goes wrong, the political fallout will be catastrophic. You know this. The men around you know this. The men who gave the order know this. You don't think about it. You focus on the compound dimensions. The door that opens inward. The staircase that turns left. The flight takes 90 minutes. 90 minutes of darkness and engine noise, and the weight of everything you know is about to happen. The man sitting next to you has his eyes closed. He's not sleeping. He's in a state you recognize. Total internal focus, breathing slow, heart rate deliberate. You've trained your nervous system to do this, to be calm when every biological instinct says panic. You check your weapon. You check it again. Below you, the lights of Pakistan. Villages, roads, farms, normal life, people sleeping, people who have no idea what is passing over them in the dark. Then, the city of Abbottabad, residential streets, a military academy. The compound is near the military academy. This has always been the detail that unsettles the intelligence analysts. The most wanted man in the world, living 800 meters from Pakistan's version of West Point. The pilot's voice in your earpiece. 30 seconds. You feel the helicopter descend. And then, it happens. The helicopter loses lift. It's not a crash. It's a controlled failure. The tail swings. The pilot fights it. He brings the nose down into the compound wall to prevent a full rollover. The helicopter tilts violently. Men grab for handholds. You hit the ground harder than planned. For 3 seconds, there is complete disorientation. Then, training takes over. Everyone is up. Everyone is moving. Nobody is dead. Nobody is seriously injured. The pilot managed the impossible, controlled the aircraft enough that everyone survived. You don't process the miracle of this. You move. The assault begins at the exact moment the helicopter touches down. The second helicopter, unable to land due to the first helicopter's position, hovers and fast ropes its team onto the roof of the guest house. 2 assault teams, now moving simultaneously. Coordinated, rehearsed, 40 times in North Carolina, now once for real. You move through the outer courtyard. Suppressed fire. Quiet. Controlled. A guard. A decision made in less than a second. You don't stop moving. The doors are not what you expected. They're reinforced. The breaching charges handle the first door. The second is a different problem. Your point man works it. Seconds feel stretched. Every second standing outside a door is a second something can go wrong. The door opens. You clear the first floor. Rooms. Corners. Nothing. The compound is larger than it looks from the outside. A guest house to the right. Main building straight ahead. Stairs going up. The staircase turns left. Exactly as you rehearsed. You're moving upward. Voices above you. A man appears at the top of the stairs. He retreats. Your team pushes forward. 3rd floor. There's a door. You know what's behind the door before you open it. 14 days of briefings. 9 years of intelligence. 40 rehearsals in North Carolina. You open the door. There's a man. Tall. Dark beard streaked with gray. He moves toward the side of the room where 2 women are standing. He's using them as a shield, or moving toward something behind them. You process this in fractions of a second. The decision takes less time than it takes to describe. 2 shots. He goes down. You move forward. You confirm. The training has a word for this moment: exploitation. You're not done. You secure the room. You look for anything of intelligence value: computers, hard drives, documents, phones. Your team is already doing this, moving with precision. Every man knows his job without being told. Your team lead's voice in your earpiece: Geronimo, Geronimo, Geronimo! The code word. Confirmation. It's him. You stand in a room in Abbottabad, Pakistan, at 12:38 in the morning, and the most wanted man in the world is dead at your feet, and you feel nothing. Not triumph, not relief, not anger satisfied. Nothing. It will take weeks to feel anything, and what you feel then won't be what anyone expects. You have 40 minutes inside the compound. Every room is cleared, every hard drive removed, every document collected. The CIA analysts will spend the next year going through what your team gathered in 40 minutes. They'll find leads to 3 other networks, intelligence that prevents 4 planned attacks. You'll never know the details. That's not your job. The crashed helicopter has to be destroyed. You can't leave classified technology for Pakistan's intelligence services to recover. Demolition charges are placed. The tail section, which landed outside the compound wall, is photographed by neighbors who are beginning to emerge from their homes. The clock is moving. You hear the Chinook arriving. Backup. The reinforcement team. It wasn't needed for the assault. It's needed now for extraction. You carry the body out. You carry him out yourself. He's heavier than you expected. Or maybe that's the weight of what this is. 14 days of preparation. 9 years of someone else's intelligence work. 3,000 people who died on a Tuesday morning in September 2001. 23 SEALs in 2 helicopters on a Sunday night in May 2011. The compound is burning behind you. You load into the Chinook. The flight back is longer than the flight in. Or it feels longer. The adrenaline is leaving your system. Your hands are shaking slightly. You notice this and note it without judgment. This is normal. This is the body processing what the mind hasn't caught up to yet. The man sitting next to you looks at you. He doesn't say anything. Neither do you. There's nothing to say. You land at the forward base in Afghanistan. There are debriefers waiting. Intelligence officers, doctors, your commanding officer. The debrief takes 4 hours. Every detail, every second. What you saw, heard, decided. You give it all accurately and completely. At 4 in the morning, you sit outside the briefing building alone. The sky is beginning to lighten. Somewhere in the distance, a dog is barking. Normal sounds, the world continuing. You think about your son's baseball game, the one you told him you'd be at. You think about the letters in the desk drawer. You think about the man on the 3rd floor. You don't think about whether you feel like a hero. Heroes are for movies. You're a Navy SEAL who was given a mission and executed it to the best of your training and capability. That's the complete description. There's no word beyond that. They fly you home 4 days later. President Obama is giving a speech. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden. The country erupts. People in the streets, flags waving, crowds outside the White House. College students who were 12 years old when the towers fell, celebrating in dormitory parking lots. You watch this on a television in a hotel room in Virginia. You feel removed from it, like watching something happen to someone else. Your wife picks you up. She doesn't ask where you were. She just drives and holds your hand over the center console and says nothing. That's worth more than anything anyone else says in the next 2 weeks. Your son's baseball team lost his game, 3-1. He shows you the scorecard he saved. You sit with him in the backyard and go through every at-bat. He doesn't know. He'll never fully know. He'll read about it in history books someday, and he won't connect it to the week his father was on a training exercise. Maybe that's the right way. Maybe not. The letters stay in the desk drawer. You don't throw them away. You don't know why. 6 months later, a book comes out. Written by someone who claims to have been on the mission. Details that shouldn't be public become public. Then another book. Then a film. Then a decade of films. Each version slightly more dramatic than reality. Each version adding elements that weren't there. The Hollywood version has a final speech. A moment of triumph. The hero stands over the body and feels justice completed. You watched the real version. There was no speech, no moment, just a room, a decision, and the machinery of training executing itself. The men who were there don't talk about it. Not because they're hiding something dramatic, because the drama everyone imagines isn't what happened. What happened was clinical and precise, and over in minutes, and none of it looks the way people want it to look. You go back to work the following Monday. 3 months later, you're in Yemen. 4 months after that, you're in Somalia. The mission in Abbottabad becomes a thing that happened, one operation among others. The most significant one, by any external measure. The one that will be in history books. The one your grandchildren will study in school. To you, it's Tuesday. To you, it's all Tuesday. You retire at 38, 7 more years after Abbottabad. Your knees are gone from 15 years of jumps and fast ropes and hard landings. Your hearing is damaged from gunfire and helicopter engines. You sleep 4 to 5 hours a night, and have for years. You get a job as a security consultant. Normal hours, normal pay. Conference rooms instead of briefing rooms. Your son is 16 now. He asks you once, carefully, if you were there. You look at him for a long moment. You say, "I was where they needed me to be." He nods. He doesn't push. He's a SEAL's son. He knows the shape of the answer, even when the answer isn't given. You drive home that night. The same house, the same streets, the same life your mission was designed to protect. You sit in the car in the driveway for a few minutes before going inside. The world kept going. You kept going. The job got done. That's all it ever is. That's all it needs to be. That wraps it up. This story is fiction, but on May 1st, 2011, 23 real men flew into Pakistan in the dark and did exactly this. Most of their names you will never know. That's exactly how they want it. If it made you think, drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. More deep dives coming. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next.